Hello again, everyone. Well, today I've been having a bit of a play again. A very kind lady in Nova Scotia sent me a package with some of this in. This is tissue. This is Tim Holtz. I'm not quite sure of the make of this one, but she wanted me to see and have a go at a technique where you use this with 3D embossing folders. So I looked at the video and I thought, right, I'll have a go at this and see what we're doing. It's kind of a bit like decoupage by putting bits of it onto some card and then embossing that card, then using that as the base for a design. So I started and I tried this. I dug out some old glue. I bought this donkey's years ago at the NEC, at the craft show there, but it's glossy. And I actually am not too keen on glossy, but I waited for this to dry because I want to do the embossing bit. So I'm going to kind of jump about and do sort of various stages. So before I do this, I think I'm going to start the new base with some of this, but instead of using the glossy, I'm going to use Indigo Blues Slap It On, which is a matte medium. So let's have a go at that. I'll do that in just a mo, but first of all, I want to get some bits off here to stick onto my panel. Now I've got one piece out there and I want to have this butterfly. So all of this kind of stuff, when you sort of collage it, collage is sticking, isn't it, in French? Ripped lines are more pleasant than cut lines. So as this is tissue paper, I'm going to help my tearing by wetting the area I want to tear out. Now, this paper has got kind of two distinct sides. This side is smoother and shinier, it feels it, than that side. So I'm hoping that this is the side that's going to accept the water better so that I can do my tearing out. So I've got some water here, I've got a brush, and I'm just kind of going to wet the paper around the area that I want to tear it out. I'm going to wet the edge as well because I want to just soften that edge by tearing it a little bit. So there's my sort of butterfly shape. Now I tried this with this other paper, but this is more like, British people will probably know what I'm talking about, Bronco. Years ago, toilet paper used to be made out of this kind of stuff, and it was as hard as a rock and very uncomfortable. But this is kind of more like Bronco, and it doesn't accept water for tearing as easily as proper tissue paper. So I'm just going to see how this one goes now for tearing. It's a bit like, do you remember the old mulberry paper? You drew your lines with water, and then it kind of just ripped along those lines. So let's just see how we go. Always with paper, it will rip better in one direction than the other, and it's often very obvious which way's which. So let's just see how we go. It's not doing too badly. This is the way it should tear easily, I think. There we go. See, that bit tore more easily. Let me just kind of soften up this edge here. This is a difficult edge as well to tear, I think. Not doing terribly well. There we go. So what we're kind of going to do is have a couple of bits on our front, on our panel. If I can get the one that just flew off onto the floor. Kind of like this. I don't want to have, I could have stuck the whole sheet over because it's, you know, beautifully collaged really, but I do want to have some white space. So I'm going to kind of leave it more like this, really. So rather than using the Decoupage Glossy, I'm going to use Slap It On Matte. I had this out because I thought if people don't have any of this Tim Holtz paper, they could make their own. I just stamped this. I got a bit of tissue paper. This was left over. Well, it was what was surrounding my gummy pen dies. So I just got out a bunch of stamps. A lot of them here are from this Darkroom door set. And I just stamped it with Versafine Clair. So I'll try a bit of that in a moment as well. But that's my attempt at kind of one of these, just very quickly. So I'm going to put that on one side for a moment. As I said, that's what I had my pad out for stamping that, to give it a bit more flexibility. Now I'm going to do my gluing. So I've got a little mat here. I've got some Slap It On. I have a brush, a broadish brush for spreading. And I'm just going to put a bit on my mat. Oops. Or a lot on my mat, as the case may be. Right. On the back of the paper, all over, turn it over, and then I'm going to put it on the top. Oh, I've got a crease. Let's just try and get it without any creases. There we go. All over the top. Okay, and isn't that lovely? Now I'll put this one on. Again, on the back, first of all. Glue it down. And then we'll turn it over, put it on the front. Now this piece of paper is larger than the one I want to use. I just thought I'd put it on kind of anyhow, and that's not quite straight, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, do I want any more? I think that's going to do. So I'm just going to make sure it's covered all over with some of the matte medium, so that there's sort of similarity finish all over. And then I'm going to leave this to dry. Okay. Right, I do prefer the look of that even when it's not dried to this, but I'll put a piece of wet wipe over that just to keep it moist until I can use it in a moment or two, because I want to have a go with my own attempt at this sort of, well, let's do it now. Let's just do it now. I've got another piece of card. I'll use, it's a bit small, but I'll use this one. It'll do for a panel somewhere, I'm sure. So, on the back, I'm going to wet a little bit and see if I can tear it. So let's have this bit down here. It's all rough. Oh, look at this. Perfect. Right. Now, can I get it on? Let me just tear off the bit that's got no design on. Okay, let's tear this bit off. There we go. Isn't that easy? Goodness. And the bottom is a bit messy as well. Let's scissor cut the bottom there. Let's get a bit off the bottom. Okay. So any tissue paper you get out of a shoebox or anything would be absolutely great. Right, this is the back. Let's try putting on some of the matte medium. Let's hope I can get it off in one piece. There we go. Oh dear, this is so delicate. I don't think it's going to matter anyway. Okay, let me just tamp this down. I don't mind if it's crumpled. Let's get a lot more of this on. Get it down flat. There we go. It just makes a bit of interest, doesn't it, if we've got a few crinkles in it. Okay. Right, now we've got 3 to go at. I'll just do a little, I will put a wet wipe on that just to keep it moist a moment. Because when I can, later on, I'll try and get it back into the bottle, but for the moment, I'll just put that on the top. I'll get another one and wipe the rest with the mat. Okay. Put that out of the way. Now, the next thing, pop those into water so they don't go hard. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is to die cut this one, because this is too big for my card front. So I want to die cut this, find a place for that, and to use as a card panel. So if I'm going to use a 3D embossing folder, the size I've got, that's the largest one that I've got for this length, but I've got various, this is a leaf, planks, and I don't know what this one is. It's just kind of things with screws in. It's hard, I very often look through embossing folders to see what I think they look like, but I'll try this one. So in order to, it needs to be about this size. So let me put those out of the way. I will first of all cut this down, and then we'll emboss it. This is all experiments today. I don't actually know what's going to happen because I haven't done any of this before. So let's just see if that's straight. I think I might just take that down because I would like it to be reasonable. Oh, no, it's fine. That'll be fine. Okay. All right, there's my panel, the size I want it. Pop that away. Now I'm going to emboss it. So because I've cut it down, it's now just the right size, which should be helpful. Okay. Now, I can't remember what I use for this because these 3D are so... Oh dear, this is the least I could put through my machine. I've got a base plate. One base plate, one cutting plate, and that's it in my spellbinders. These are just so thick. But I did it. Let's just have a look and see what it looks like. This is the moment of truth, isn't it, really? Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Oh my goodness, look at that. Now I need to do... for a card, what I thought I would do for the front is one of the one-line drawings that I did yesterday. I just did one of these, and I thought that would be quite nice as an embellishment somewhere on this, perhaps there, like that, so that the flower sort of shows. I'll just show you how I did that. I'm digressing really, but I think it'd be interesting to see. Here's a little bit of scrap. This is the set. This is the set it came from, Adventures in Ink, and it's called Honesty, and it's this little flower just here. This is the set that Craft Stash asked me if I would review. I bought a whole bunch of these sets incredibly cheaply, put them in the drawer and forgot about them. And when I had this email, I looked them out. So this is that, and you can see it's got a straight stem, but I fancied having a curved stem like this. So all I did was to pop it on my block and kind of curl it as much as I wanted, like this. And of course it will stay. The bottle that it's in is here. So I'll just stamp that first. Onto my piece of scrap. There it is. Now the flower. The thing I found with this one was trying to make sure that the stem actually reached the water. With this leaf there, it was a bit awkward. There we go, it's just about touching. There. And then what I did was just add a touch of colour. Just a touch. So, let's have... What I used was Kitsch Flamingo, peeled paint and iced spruce. The iced spruce was for the water. And all I did was quick dab, pick up a bit of paint and need a bit more. That's enough. With these kind of images, it's just a suggestion of the colour, not actual colouring. So that's all I did for that. For the leaf, just a dab of peeled paint, that's all, nothing more. And for the leaf, the petals rather, a touch of Kitsch Flamingo. And again, it's just a suggestion of the colour. Actually, I put a little bit of green just underneath, as if it's the sort of the sepals. Is that what you call them? I think they are, aren't they? Petals and sepals. Long time since biology. So that was it. And then I cut it out, just simply. So that was that. So I've got another one there to put onto another one of the cards. Perhaps put it onto one of these. Well, I've just raided my box of Made It, don't know what to do with it, and got a couple of things that I'm going to use as embellishments for this one. This one is I think it's a memory box, just birthday mail I'd made, and this is a Sizzix, one of those impresslets, I think it's called, just with a little bit of luscious powder. So I'm going to cut this out, pop it onto another card, and we should be getting to be in business, I think. Let's just find a place for this. Okay, cut it out. For this one, I thought I would use, as I'm going to put a leaf on it, I thought I would use the leaf embossing folder. So pop that up there. Take out everything except the base plate. Put this into the folder. They're just so thick. Now this one is matte. Can you see hasn't got the shine that one's got? I'll show you how I think I'm going to finish that one off. Let's just get a simple, perhaps I'll try a magic mark with this, see if that's any easier. Ooh, it's jolly hard. Right. Here's this one. Look at that. Doesn't matter which side you do, I suppose, really. I think I actually put it in upside down. So we've got the debossed side. So card base is here. I think that one will go on black as well. Birthday mail with a leaf. I think it does need a black border because I've had to cut it down so much to fit inside the folder. I think it's going to need another. I'll use this one. I'll just show you the size. Whoops-a-daisy. You see? That size on there. So I might actually use another white one for that. We'll see. So that's the layout for that one. This is the layout I thought I would do for this one, with a black base. Put this, I don't normally do this, I don't normally like it, but I just feel it needs to cry out for it. I've got a sentiment from one of these ready-made ones. This is from Indigo Blue. And I'm going to put this straight on there, and I may well elevate it. So that's one. This is going to be the second. And I think, as I say, I will just put a white base behind that. I'll try and put all these cards at the end of the video. This one, what I thought I would do is cut this down a little bit with this die. It's too long, but I'll just shorten it. So that means I'll cut it from both ends, one after the other, and they'll meet in the middle. So I'm going to cut from one end first of all. Oh, I haven't got this plate back in. I do need that. Just cut from one end, part way. Let's go down here. I'll do a short of this, I think, how to cut dies longer or shorter to make them fit your purpose. I'm turning it round, so I'm just putting this around this end to help if I have the die the right way up. About there, I would say. Make sure it's in the tram lines from before, and just cut that end. There we go. There we go. Now, where's my third card base? There it is. That's going to go like this. Oh, I haven't done my embossing yet. Can you see it's like wood grain? So we'll pop that in there. I don't necessarily want to have the joining lines exactly in the middle. I'll put it over to one side a little bit, I think. Okay, take everything out again and just try and... Let me try with the base plate. I wonder if that would be any easier. Just let me just put the base plate and I'll just try. No, that's not enough. That is not enough. I will use my magic mat. Okay. There we go. So I've got my embossing, my tissue paper embossed, my homemade tissue paper embossed. Can you see it? It really does look lovely. Really nice. So this one's going to be sort of a panel like this. Let me cut this out. I will speed this up because you don't want to be watching me cut out all the time, but I will speed it up, as I say. There we are. So, homemade tissue paper embossed. Where should we put that? Maybe like that. I will finish these off and I will put them at the end of the video. So do see through to the end and you can see everything that I've made. So if you don't have the special tissue paper that I was very, very kindly sent from all the way from Nova Scotia, you can make your own if you've got a little tissue paper from a package, from whatever. Or if you haven't got that, you could always use one of these, just a paper napkin. And if you separate the layers like this and just use that top layer. You could use that for an embossed background for a bit of a different kind of card. Okay, I'll stick them all together, put them at the end. I think I'll find a sentiment for that one. And I hope you've had a bit of fun watching me struggling through. So have a lovely day. Do subscribe. It's absolutely free. Do give a thumbs up if you've had some fun. And I hope to see you next time.